great to see you again, my friends. I hope that you are faring well and having an interesting week, if not great. I'm so glad you're joining me again today to work on your book again. I wanted to share with you some things that I worked on this week. I tried a little bit of printing, I guess you might call it, where I painted shapes on one page and then closed my book and opened it, and it left a residual print on the next page. This one I did over the acrylic paint that I had painted on to make it white. And then the next page I tried just over the printed page. And this one I kind of did gradually. I did a few shapes, closed, open, a few more, closed, open, a few more, closed and opened. And that kept it from the paint from drying out. And I really like how that turned out. I used just an acrylic craft paint to do these marks in here. I also made a feather and added a song lyric that kept going through my head that I loved. And this was one of the quote pages. I added some just different shapes as I went along and filled in some of these spaces from where we added the torn pages in last time. I also wanted to try gluing my pages together with liquid glue to see if it was as flexible and worked as well as a glue stick. And it seemed to work pretty well. I can fold it and it's still flexible. I was afraid it might get hard and crusty, but it seems to be working well. I also did some more writing on the part that we glued in last week, and then I did another strip of some of the torn pages and added that in too. And I'm gonna keep adding to that page because I really like the turquoise, black, and cream color scheme. Then the last thing I wanted to show you is just this page. I added some acrylic paint here on the sides, and I added some watercolors in the middle. And this here is actually some ink droplets that I found in my desk, some liquid ink, and I just kind of was tapping it on there and then folding it over, kind of like I did the print page that I showed you before. So those are just a few of the things I did. I hope that you've continued to work on your book too. It's exciting, I have to say, to kind of see more and more getting filled in. And I think the more that I do in here, the more I want to do more. So I hope it's the same for you. Today we'll need our books, of course, some writing implements, markers, pencils, pastels or crayons if you like using those. Also some glue. You can use your glue stick or liquid glue, and some tape if you'd like. A pair of scissors will be helpful. And also those pieces of paper that you were collecting since our last time together. So grab your stuff and we're gonna get started. Here I have the papers that I collected to use today. Some of them, again, are just pre-printed papers. A few of them were scraps I had been just playing around. I did a page of handprints. So I took some from there and I did some textures with netting, and I was doodling birds. I found some old tickets. I thought that might be fun to use. And then this is a piece of torn paper from my book. I decided I wanted to paint it and then actually fold it too. So I'm going to be using that as well. Some of these I've already cut into geometric shapes to use. Some of my edges are torn. A couple of them are longer and bigger. Most of them are about the size I want to use. But feel free to look through yours, and if there are any that you want to cut to fit into your book size a little better, go ahead and cut some shapes. Okay, I think these are about the size that I want to use for my book. Let's open our books to choose a page that you'd like to put flaps on. And let's take a little time to lay out these pieces of paper on your book. We can make some of them overlap. So we have different layers of flaps. I have enough that I'm probably going to need 2 different page spreads. So go ahead and play around with layout on your book. Okay, so I think this is about the right place that I want for mine. And if you would like, you can lightly mark some of the edges where you want to keep them. Or if you're good with eyeballing it, you can just eyeball. I want you to notice I have some overlapping. So as we add them, we want to secure the one that's most underneath first. So on this page, I'll put this lower one on first. And then I'll add this one over top of it. On this page, this one will go on first, and then those 2 can go on. This page, I'm going to start with just attaching it with tape. So I'm going to move that over. This flap I folded, so when I secure it, I'm only going to secure this middle part because I want to still be able to open these flaps too. Here's my transparent tape. I'm just going to get about the right size there. Hold it down and press it on. And just like some of those other things we added with tape, I'm going to flip this one over and tape this side as well. You can see I added a little bird to the back of my flap too. I wanted to see how many different planes I could add in one piece of paper. So there we go. So that's flap number 1. And then I believe I had this one. I guess I'll do it this way. And I could either have it open this way or this way. I kind of like it opening this way, so I'm going to secure this edge here. There we are. So these 2 I have attached using tape. Again, this page I want to use my glue stick to secure it. I have to decide which way I want these flipping because I'm going to fold along the edge. So this one here I'm doing first, and I want that to open in. So I'm just going to fold my edge. There we go. And I'm going to put this here so I won't get glue on the inside. Just put some glue on the flap here. Place it on my edge and press it down. And if you find that some of your edges are up, you can go ahead and add more glue, but I think I've got enough on mine. So then I'll add this one. This one, I'm actually gonna open down. final one is this, which I will do along the top. There we go. And so as these flaps interact, you can see that this one comes over the fold, so this one has to stay on top. But these two can kind of be interchangeable. Doesn't need to be necessarily one over the other. So let's do another page with any of your leftover flaps. Let's take a moment to play with patterns. Patterns are just shapes or marks that are repeated in an organized fashion. Choosing a mark and filling an entire page with that mark repeated can be a great way to warm up and get your creative juices flowing. Sometimes when we sit down to work, it's easy to feel pressured that we need to make something beautiful right away. And doing a simple exercise like this can sometimes get us going and help us to not feel afraid or paralyzed about where to start. So I'm going to start doing a pattern with a simple dot. And I'll do a few different patterns on this page. So first thing, choose your mark. And then after you choose your mark, start filling it in an even, relatively even manner to create your pattern. I'm going to start another one now. And you choose another mark as well to create a new pattern, or you can continue on with the one that you were just doing. There you go, that's the whole page of pattern. And again, my lines aren't all straight and my crosses and plus signs aren't all the same size, but it creates a nice background for when I want to add something to it later. It kind of fills that page and gives a base for adding to it. For fun, let's do another page of pattern, and this time choose a different mark. And if you want to go a little crazy, you can try your opposite hand too. For my next page, I'm going to do a mark that's a little bit faster. This one took me longer than I planned on. But sometimes that kind of gets you in the zone too. You're just listening to music and making those marks. It can kind of be a stress relief too. So choose your next page and your next mark. Now the ones that I did were either a shape, or with this one I made blobs with a brush, but you can also make patterns with a squiggly line, straight line, curved line. It doesn't matter. Have fun experimenting and trying out different things. Another good exercise to sometimes help us get into the mindset of playing and creating without worrying is just exploring a shape. So I'd like you to choose a shape. I'm going to use an oval this time. And repeat that shape several times over the page. And you can make some small, make some larger. They can overlap. And I'll have you start with one tool, but then I want you to pick another, something else in another color and do the same thing over again. choose a third one too. And I don't know if you noticed this in yourself, but when I started doing all my ovals the same direction. And then I thought, well, I should change directions. So then I did the other horizontal instead of vertical, and then I realized I could do diagonal. It doesn't matter which way or direction I go. So kind of be thinking about that as you notice what your natural tendencies are. And if you notice yourself working in a pattern, try to throw a wrench into that and try something a little bit different. I'm going to do 1 or 2 more colors. Lastly, there's a lot of intersecting lines, so choose a few spots to color in. I think I will fill in my spots with pastel. I'll just do a few for now, but it's interesting to see how that highlights the different areas. Well, there we go. It's interesting to see some of the shapes as you color them in, because before I colored them in, I wasn't even noticing some of those interesting shapes. So you could go back through and choose another color and fill in more. And as you fill in, you might start seeing a picture. As I was over here, I was almost seeing ones that I could fill in to make a flower. Enjoy adding color in different places and seeing what happens. Thanks again for taking the time to join me today. I hope that you've been finding it fun and interesting and refreshing. A couple things for next time. Those flaps that we added today, I'd like you to lift them up and add something underneath the flaps. It can be doodles, letters, a picture, a photograph, drawings, whatever you want. Just fill in those underneath those flaps. And if you want, add another page or two with some different flaps. The other thing I'd like you to do is collect things from around your house that have texture. It could be bubble wrap, maybe a sponge, or a piece of styrofoam, or just regular packing foam. Even cardboard will make some interesting textures. And then here I have some rubber placemats that I cut up, and those are kind of fun for texture too. Bring 3 or 4 different things that look like they might have an interesting texture. And of course, keep working on your book. And the more you work in it, the more fun it will be, the more exciting it is to see take shape as a whole. If you are interested in getting in touch with me or sharing some pictures with me, I would love to hear from you. So you can contact me below, or hit subscribe if you'd like to see more videos. I'd love to hear from you and see what you're working on. Thanks again. Hope you have a great day, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.